Well, Dave, a tremendous turnaround in the second half, sparked by your 3 substitutions, and of course, the Iceman cometh. I mean, 2 Premier League finishes from him today.
He's a finisher. Yeah. We've seen that from when he's come into the club. Probably, without putting too much pressure on, probably the best finisher we have in the team. That's a big statement after only being here for the time he has. But great for him. Listen, when you're in the position that you are, you have to make decisions as a manager, and you roll the dice, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So as much as they've worked today, over 15 years, I probably can count the times that it works. Probably a lot less frequent than the time it doesn't work. You try and look at what the game needs from our perspective first and foremost, and we just need some impetus of legs and aggression and front-footedness, and we didn't have that in the first half for whatever reason that might be, and you then have to, I suppose, make decisions, make changes. Thankfully those decisions have worked, and we've got ourselves back in the game early, which is great, and I suppose to go on and win on the back of conceding the first goal, which is the first time we've done it in the league this year, is really important. The likelihood is we have to do that again between now and the end of the season. So we've got to take real positive reinforcement that if we do things in the right way and stick to us, then we can achieve those things.
It's still a bold change, isn't it? Because I mean, there's a thought process here. You've decided to take Carl Wootton off. The obvious change is to bring on Sam Cosgrove, but you went with Benno. So you've obviously seen something, whether in training or whatever, that's encouraged you to do that.
No, listen, he's a finisher. That's that, and you're hoping that if you're, as we wanted to be, in their part of the pitch, that if the ball drops, then of the majority within our team, if you're picking someone to have that opportunity drop to them, instinctively he'd be the one. So nothing against Sam, like I say, we just thought that as the game was, allow Tanto to be a threat, try and get Benno and Will up alongside him, and try and give us more legs with Mox, and allow Campsey to run forward, and then I suppose roll the dice defensively around your back 4 and a young back 4, having to deal with at times a front 4, but certainly the front 2 that, to be honest, in the first half they didn't deal with very well. So that was, again, bold in terms of what we were asking them to do, but I just wanted to see us run. I'd rather sort of full on my sword type thing in terms of going and being aggressive and being us, and if we lose being us and that game then gets away from us, then so be it. But I just felt that if we didn't change, the game would have gone away from us naturally.
The flip side to that, of course, is as you do that, you do risk leaving 1 or 2 gaps at the back, and they were exploited by Blackpool. But when they did that, Niall Ennis came up against Corey Adai, who made 2 massive saves in that second half at 1-1.
Yeah, he did the first one. Like I say, first one, I'm more concerned that we're leaving or we're being a little bit more open, but they shouldn't get in the manner that what they did, just with a ball through the middle that Brad and Noilly don't deal with. Ennis gets in, it goes through the side. I think it's the one you're talking about when he comes back and he gets the head in the middle of the goal and Corey makes the save. The first part of that shouldn't happen. So the first part doesn't happen, the second part doesn't have to happen. But I think what Corey showed and what we knew when we were bringing him to the football club was that he does make big saves, and you look statistically in League 2 when last season he statistically made the most big saves from any goalkeeper. Ben got the most clean sheets and was the best goalkeeper. I would hope, and I'm pretty confident in saying that our defence was a lot better than what Crawley's were. So we knew statistically what Crawley could do. I think if that needed any reminders, he showed that at Wigan 2 weeks ago, where he came on after Ben's injury and made 2 big saves. And he's done the same today. So we know he'll do that. I don't want to be reminded of that very often if I don't need to be. But eventually that's gonna be the case. We're gonna have to leave ourselves open at times. We're going to have to we'll hopefully defend really, really well, but the likelihood is teams at times will play through you, and there will be mistakes, and that will result in opportunities to score. If we've got someone who is the last line of defence, if you like, who with his size can make those big saves, then we're obviously going to benefit from it.
It's been a great start to the year for you over these 2 months. I mean, you've won 7 out of 9 now. You've been fourth for well over a month. I read your programme notes today and you said it's a position we could only have dreamed of at the start of the season. Is that a way of almost taking the pressure off yourselves? Because you are in uncharted territory here.
No, not really. But we came into the division as maybe a little bit of an unknown quantity. But be clear, we were in the unknown as to what we were going to be up against, and I think the strides that we've made over the course of this season have been brilliant. And as every team will have, we've had loads of adversity along the way with injuries and other little things that make it more and more difficult. But we've got ourselves in a good position. As I said, we all hoped, dreamed, whatever word you want to call it, object you want to call it, is that we all wanted to be where we are. And some might say, yeah, I knew we'd be great. For us, it's almost a little bit of a voyage of discovery in a different division with a different squad, and at the moment things are going well for us. So I know exactly where we're at. It doesn't need me to take the pressure off the players. The pressure is, people might not think this is far greater from inside than it is from outside, from our perspective, because we know what we want to go and try and do. But the boring answer is we can only control what we can control. We did that much better in the second half and got ourselves another result. March becomes a really significant month. This week's a really significant week because today 6 of the top 8 have played against each other. On Tuesday you got a similar scenario, and then the following weeks, from our own perspective, we play Charlton, Bolton and Wrexham. So the teams that are in and around us, we can impact, but just as you flip it the other way, they can impact us, direct opponents. So I'm sure at the end of March things will be a lot clearer, and all of a sudden then you are in the running and what that looks like. But we've, I suppose, from a club, individuals within the team have sort of run this course before and know what it takes and know what it looks like. And we'll do everything we can to make sure we stay in around it and make the end of the season a really exciting one.
I know everyone's talking about Charlton, Bolton, Wrexham, but of course there is Northampton away to come on Tuesday. And is Benno in the running now to start in that one potentially, or is he still a player who makes an impact off the bench potentially?
I don't know. That's something that we'll chat about. Just because he scored 2 goals today doesn't change my opinion, and it shouldn't change everyone else's opinion around the expectation on him. He's a young kid who's been in the country for nearly 3 months, or just over 3 months, who's come into a division that's he's untried, untested at, but he's a goal scorer. And regardless of the level, because of his technique, he'll continue to put himself in goal scoring positions and continue to hit the target when that happens. And he's got a very, very good knack of finding the corners and understanding what finish is required at what stage or in what position. So if he has an impact, brilliant. One thing's for certain, and which is what I'll have to control. I don't suggest anybody's expectation will be greater than what his is, because he'll back himself to be able to do what he's done today. That won't affect him in an overly positive way or an overly negative way, because he's just a really, really level kid that has probably had his biggest significant impact in a home game where he gets 45 minutes and he gets 2 goals on the back of it. So brilliant for him, brilliant for him to get the man of the match, brilliant for him to win the game for us. We felt that we'd brought in a player that could grow with us and would become a real asset, and if he continues to grow in the manner that he is doing at the moment and continues to show what he does, then we'll all be proven right.
Tell you're as excited as we are to see what's more to come from him. Tuesday, Callum Conley available again. Anybody else likely to come back into the mix who's been injured?
No, I wouldn't think so. There's only Maka carrying, again, is one we need to be careful with. Tuesday's probably a push. Saturday, yeah, probably. Fraser No, unlikely. Probably a couple of weeks away rather than sooner than that. Probably a little bit longer. The big thing for us is hopefully we've picked up nothing extra. Campsey's had a couple of whacks in there. Will was cramping up a little bit with his hamstring. Beatty's obviously got a whack. The turnaround between Saturday and Tuesday is a tough one to navigate. And we've got to. We'll be in tomorrow as we always are before a Tuesday fixture. See how lads are. Pick a team that gives us the best chance of going to Northampton and backing up especially the second half performance what we've produced today.
Jaden February okay? Obviously came off at half time. He's been out since November.
Yeah,
February's
been out for a long time. What we wanted to do didn't work in the first half. We were too passive. We were too negative. That wasn't, again, I would hope it wasn't part of the game plan. Wasn't what we envisaged. So he was only ever going to be 45 minutes, 60 minutes at best. So when you're making the changes that we wanted to make at half time, he becomes one that would have been coming off anyway. So it's an easy one to make and change the dynamic in that perspective.
And what have you made of Northampton? Obviously, Kevin Nolan's gone in. I mean, all the bottom six I think have changed now, but Kevin Nolan's gone in there and he has revitalised, hasn't he? I think they were 20th or something at the end of January, now 17th, 18th. So there's been a turnaround. They've won 3 of the last 5. So
yeah, there has it. I suppose what the big thing for them was not getting dragged in.
Yeah.
And what's happened with other clubs changing managers, I suppose, is they've had a bit of a bounce and they've started winning games. So the teams from below have caught up a little bit, and there's probably more involved in that scrap for the bottom 4 than there was 2-3 months ago, but has done a good job. Has going to change what they've done. This continues to be really aggressive. We watched games from last week in terms of playing Sam Hoskins and Mitch Pinnock as wing backs. They want to be aggressive. They want to try and be front foot and create opportunities. So we're coming up against a team that are scrapping, not scrapping for their lives in terms of but are wary of where they're at. So they've got their own. Their own agenda, just as we have, and we have to go there, recover quickly as they will, and go and put on a performance on a Tuesday evening to try and back up what we've done, this afternoon.
Well done. Should we go and do the thunderclap in the bar? Are you ready for that?
I'll leave that to others. But listen, nice for them to get involved, and going off last time, I'm sure it'll spark plenty of social media content as to whether it's good or not good. But Kate loves it, so.
Well, it's all right by us then. Yeah, brilliant. Well done. Thank you, Dave. Top man. All the best.